PC Jan share the dedicated ward officer for the Met Police. I'll let my colleagues introduce themselves to you as well.
Hello, Darren Wiltshire, Sergeant for the Gospel Oak and Haverstock wards, and we're here today to talk about the youth boxing and education project that we're currently running at Gospel Oak.
Hi, I'm PC Breed, based at Kentish Town Police Station, the neighbourhood ward officers for Kentish Town. I've been assisting with the boxing project, and one of the reasons why I've been involved is to try and encourage females into the project as well.
And we've got Frances with us, who's been helping us with the Off the Hook engagement project. I'll let her introduce herself as well. Frances,
thanks, Jan. So hi, I'm Frances. I'm the Sports Development Coordinator for Queen's Crescent Community Association, and we've been working with the Met Police on our boxing project, and I also help to organise kind of a range of sports that we have in our Youth Dome Centre.
So this is basically, as my colleague said, it's a youth engagement and boxing project. It's a mixture of both boxing and educational workshops. It's a 10-week course for the youth. So we've got a qualified boxing coach who delivers light box exercise for the first half of the session, and for the second half of the session we have a number of guests coming in. We've had famous boxers come in to talk to the kids. We have Paul Hannaford, who came in to deliver a drug talk and talk them through a couple of scenarios, make them aware of the experience that he had to go through the same experience again. Then our local officers, Wendy, Sergeant Wiltshire, and myself, and a couple of my colleagues, we then deliver alongside Francis and their colleagues, we deliver workshops like presentations around then drug crime, knife crime, stop and searches, and they then do worksheets based on that. First aid was also delivered as well, so they do then worksheets based on that, which can then be we then use to apply for AQA certificates. So they get qualification out of it as well. So they get something out of the 10 weeks, as well as the boxing, the fitness. They get a certificate, which then they can use towards further education, or if they want to apply for work, they can just put that on their CVs as well. So does anybody else want to add anything else to it?
Yeah, so the boxing project came about from so Jan and other officers for obviously engaged with youths on our ward and their community members who expressed an interest in doing something like sports. I think boxing was one of the things that come up quite high. So then from there, we, in conjunction with Francis, who works for the Queen's Crescent Community Association and runs the youth side of things, we've taken it forward, but added the element of not just it being a boxing program, but also talking to them about things like the dangers of knife crime, why we conduct stop and search, but also to get that relationship between police, young persons, and the youth workers that are involved as well. And it's been very good to get some of the motivational speakers that come in, like Vas Blackwood and Sabrina Bakari, the track runner, and the mayor of Camden, who's come in. These people are quite key, and they've got a very good sort of story to tell and motivational speech that they deliver to the youths that are involved as well. Also allows the officers to when they see the youths again on the ward, they've got that relationship that they've already developed, and hopefully that will make things smoother for us, and they can see a different side to us as opposed to just an officer in uniform who maybe walking down the street and perhaps fearful of being stopped and searched, and they know our faces, they can speak to us.
One of the things that I really believe quite passionately about is the trust, which is kind of what Sergeant's just mentioned. And I've come across people, not just young people, but even older people in the community, that have got things that they want to speak to somebody about, but they're not really quite sure whether it's a police issue or for example, whether it's Francis' issue. And by developing these relationships, these kids will now know who they can turn to and just ask for some advice. And maybe it might not necessarily be on their behalf, it might be on a friend's behalf, or it might be on a parent's behalf, and to build up that relationship. And the other thing that I really liked was we were going in with our T-shirts on, but we weren't going in as police officers necessarily. So they saw us as people who were also police officers. And I just think that's really, really important, that they understand that we're just normal human beings as well that are doing a job. And one of the parts of our job is to care about them and care about people in the community.
And as my colleagues have both said, through that engagement, we can then build their confidence and trust. So when it comes to them passing important intel, they can trust us with that information, which can be really valuable to us when it comes to any investigation. I'll pass it on to Francis if she would like to add anything to that as well.
Thank you. So I will just mention I am still in the office, luckily, so please forgive me for anything going on kind of behind. But yeah, I think kind of just following on with what they've said about the relationship building, and also gives us a chance as kind of youth workers and sports coaches to get to know the young people in the community as well. So hopefully, you know, they won't maybe just come to this one project, they'll then continue with us in the youth club for, you know, years to come, because we do a range of different activities. So I think that's one of the things that's kind of really important, that it's not, even though it's just a 10-week program, hopefully it's actually not, and it's something that they'll know it's here now. So no, they didn't even know the dome was there before, and now they know all the different things that we can offer them. So I think that's really important. Yeah, and also I think we can really see we're coming to the end of our first 10 weeks now, and you can see how these young people have really developed. And, you know, at the beginning, maybe they wouldn't ask too many questions, they were a bit nervous. And then one of the sessions we run last week, we had to stop them asking questions because we were like, okay, guys, time's up, you need to go home. So I think that kind of really shows how they've grown with us in the program, which is really exciting. And then kind of, you know, as Wendy was saying, we hope to do another one and hope to bring more girls in, which is one of the things that I'm kind of really working on strongly here at the youth club, to get more kind of young girls involved in the community. So that's something kind of really exciting for the future as well of the programme.
And just to add to that, as part of that, we've been in contact with a number of female British boxers to invite them in for a talk, so they can encourage female participation in the project. And Francis and of course all my colleagues have been helping me out and get in touch with them, so we can get that all. We get female boxers in, and that way we might be able to encourage more of them, more girls, more initiative. Because boxing is something that isn't. We haven't got too many female boxers. It's easy to get into and to achieve those ranks, but it's just getting them in at the start.
Yeah, no, I was just going to go back to saying the other reason it's important for us to engage with the youth in different ways as well is that when we have our the meetings with the community, what we call the war panel, who are people which include councils that question us about what we're doing, and then we do surveys where we ask, you know, what can the police do better, or you said we did, and one of the things that did come out is that police don't engage with youth enough, and that leads into the project that we're doing now, but also, as Francis said, it's, you know, there's opportunities for the youth to then explore what's available to them, the dome and the use of these there, also for us to be potentially further involved with other activities. It doesn't have to just be boxing going forward.
So yeah, so kind of just to explain it on like a weekly basis is what we do. So there's the project as a whole runs for 10 weeks, and the young people will be with us through those 10 weeks. So it's 1 hour, first of all, of boxing with a professional boxing coach, where obviously at the moment in lockdown, we have to follow all the social distancing guidelines. So we just do a lot of bag work and kind of fitness, skipping, things like that. Before, when things were a bit easy, we could do some pad work as well. So we have a professional coach who comes in and leads that hour session for us. Then after that hour, they have like a little break, and then we go into the educational workshop or talk. So this will be, as Jan was saying earlier, like a range of things, including kind of first aid. We've had a talk about kind of drugs and knife crime. Lots of different things like that. We've had kind of different people come in. So we're saying about Vass Blackwood, who's an actor from the local area. We've had professional boxers, a female professional sprinter. So they come in to really kind of like inspire the kids, talk to them, and then we give them a chance for like a Q&A at the end as well. And then in that session, we complete different worksheets linked with AQA, and that's what gives them their certificates at the end of the project. So yeah, they'll get a certificate in first aid, in boxercise, physical activity. So yeah, they'll get a number of kind of certificates as well. So that's kind of the overall 2-hour session we do with them every week.
Yeah, so the way these kids are, we get them on the project. So basically, the youths, at the moment we've got 5 on the project. This is our first course. They were identified through the contact that we had with them on the street. So we identified them on the street, we spoke to them. They told us their interest in the sport, and we asked them if they want to be part of this project, and that's how we came about getting them involved. But now, since we've seen the positive feedback that we've been getting from the community, from our partner agencies, so the QCCA Gold Charity, and of course the SLT from the Met Police, we're now working with the Yacht Referral Team, so the youth offending team. We will be looking at working with social services as well, and of course, on patrol when we're out and about, we're still looking to identify those kids. And Frances has actually been identifying kids that she's been in contact with through the services that they provide as well. So we're looking to expand it each course. At the moment, we've got 5 people for the next one, still abiding by the COVID guidance, COVID regulations. We're increasing the numbers to 10 with risk assessment and everything in place, of course. And yeah, so we're looking to after this, we're looking to approach then hopefully schools at some point and see if they can refer kids to us as well. So it'll be, if we're using different platforms to get those kids involved and identify who's vulnerable, that can be part of this project, so we can engage with them positively.
Our Twitter page, haven't we, which is the @offthehook. If anyone wants to follow our page and kind of see what we're doing, each week we upload different videos, and we've got, quotes, videos from the young people in our sessions talking. So that's a really good way to kind of look and see about the project. And then I believe you can either email myself or Jan if you want to get involved. So I don't know if Jan, if you want to give, do you have an Off the Hook email address, or is it your email?
Yeah, well, we'll use the Off the Hook email. Says it would be mpsoffthehook@outlook.com, but I can send that through to you, so that can be part of the when you put the introduction maybe out, maybe you can just include that in there if they want to be part of it. Frances and us, my colleagues, will have all access to that email. So if we get any referrals, or if anyone wants to be part of it, then we can look into that, and possibly you can all take part. But yeah, we're both on Twitter and on Instagram. So yeah, we've got a lot of those couple of those boxers haven't attended the session, but they've shown interest. These are boxing champions who've shown interest in attending and talking to the youths. So they've spoken about our project on Instagram. So if you do follow our page, which is again @MPS Off the Hook, if you follow our project on there, then you'll see them being interested in it, and you will see our videos, as you would see on Twitter, of all the youths that have taken part, and they'll tell you what the project is like, and you will hear from our colleagues as well on there.